Welcome to video 5 of disaster proofing your business. Today is step 3, and it is determining how all the threats that we just identified in videos 2, 3, and 4, determining how those threats could affect our business. So we've identified them, we know what we could be scared of, we know what could affect us. Now let's figure out how, okay? This is the how. So now that we've identified all that can go wrong, we need to assess the potential financial consequences. So this video, you guys, is all take action. So here, ready, go. So we are going to create some cash flow forecasts. And if you are using software, QuickBooks Online, Xero, QuickBooks Desktop, any of those, you're gonna be able to just do this in your software. If you're an Excel kind of person or you just like spreadsheets, I will have a link to this. I will have a link to a cash flow forecast in the comments of this video. My friend Jamie Troll, I'm trying to think of the reason you see the wheel spinning is because I'm trying to think of the best way to get you guys this cash flow forecast worksheet. You'll have it. When you're watching this video, in the comments, in the description, somewhere, there is a link to Jamie Troll's cash flow template. It's the bomb. It's amazing. You're gonna pick, there's weekly and monthly options. I love the monthly. You're gonna pick it, you're gonna copy and paste it, and you're gonna use whichever tab you want to do these, to make these scenarios that we're going to talk about in a minute. You don't have to use Jamie's cash flow forecast or template. You can use the software you're using. You can use your own spreadsheet, because I use QuickBooks Online and I still use Jamie's template because it's awesome. So somehow I will have a link for you guys to use that template. So the scenarios you're going to create. So the first scenario I want you to create is the business as usual. Honestly, if you're good with your finances, this should already exist. It should be the forecast you already had in place or the budget you already had in place for the upcoming period, for the next 3 months, okay? Sorry. And so we call that business as usual. This is the budget or forecast that we have in place had this coronavirus, had this disaster not occurred. That's like our baseline, okay? That's our starting point. And that's here, all right? Then I want you to create a worst case scenario. And I warn you right now, this is going to suck. This is going to be hard. It's going to be emotionally draining. It's going to be scary, but you have to do this. We have to know what could happen in the worst case scenario. And so with that scenario, we'll put that over here. I want you to look at the list above that we made from step 2 and assume that all of those things go wrong. All right? Your suppliers disappear, your team gets sick, your customers go away, all the things. Okay? All the things happen, all the things affect you. What do your financials look like? Okay? Make a budget based on that. And again, this is going to be hard and you're going to want to skip it. And for some of us, we're going to make this worst case scenario and we're going to be like, we've already lived through this. We're good. Others of us, it's going to be a wake-up call. All right? It's going to be a wake-up call that tells us that if we don't get our act together and we don't plan now for what could happen next week, next month, 2 months from now, we might not have a business to take care of. All right? So yes, it's scary. Yes, it sucks, but that's part of that. Unfortunately, that's part of the business, right? Part of the job description of being a business owner is planning for things like this. You'd rather plan for it now than just think it's not going to happen, pretend like it's not going to happen, and it sneaks up on you. All right? So we have our scenario 1, business as usual. We have scenario 2, worst case scenario. Then we're going to create a scenario 3, which is keep the doors open. Right? This is the budget the budget that will keep it's not going to turn us a profit. It means, it's going to reflect lower income, but that means it's going to reflect lower costs to generate that income. It might reflect some personnel cuts, but this is the our minimum standard of care. Okay, this is what we have to do so that worst case scenario doesn't happen. All right, keep the doors open. Scenario number 3 is created so that scenario number 2, worst case scenario, doesn't happen. All right. So then so once you have those 3 scenarios, no, back up a minute. The keep your doors open scenario, I just kind of want to talk to you guys that this is going to look different for everybody. All right. Some of us, our business as usual scenario number 1 is already our keep the doors open, right? Maybe we're new. Maybe we were already going through a troubling season, a tough time, a tough season. Maybe for whatever reason, our business as usual was already keep the doors open. That's going to be a lot of us in here. All right. A lot of us are going to be a lot closer to, keep the doors open. We have some wiggle room, right? And so once you have these 3 scenarios, you guys, I want you to create at least one other scenario that falls above keep the doors open just a little bit. All right, at least one. I'd advise 3 more scenarios, but for some of you guys that's overkill and I don't want to kill you guys, but I want you guys, when you take a step back and you look at all the different scenarios, I want you to be able to look and see get the wheels going at what is possible. All right, see that even though your income went down in this scenario, down to here, your cost of goods also went down. So we're actually kind of leveling out. Maybe you find out that you could cut all of this personnel, right, and get to the keep the doors open. But if you can make just this much more revenue, you could keep one more team member, right? That's one less team member you have to let go. Or maybe this is the scenario where I can keep everybody, but this is the level we have to get at, and this is how we have to make it up. Whatever it is, but I want you to play with this, okay? So I want you to make at least the 3 scenarios, the business as usual, worst case scenario, and keep the doors open. And then I want you to make 1 to 3 more scenarios where you just kind of mold and play with those. All right, and kind of just figure out what moving pieces you have. You can't control everything, but you can kind of get you're going to find that you can kind of get creative in different places, that you have more flexibility and more room to get creative in some areas more than others. And you're not going to see that unless you look at this from at least, I'd say, 4 different views. All right. And I'm not telling you to dig into each single one and nitpick. What I'm saying is the reason you're creating, again, all of these is so you can take a step back and use it as a tool. It's going to be a tool for you going forward. All right, that's it. I will see you when we start step 4 in video number 6.